Welcome back, my friends. Today we're going to talk about the great old classic tune Small Fry by Hoagy Carmichael, but at the same time we're going to involve some jazz comping technique to help you along the path, playing along in a group, in a rhythm section, or just doing solo work, singing along yourself. Jazz comping can be a cool way to accompany yourself. When you're jazz comping, and you can do this with a pick, but I prefer to do it with fingers. When you're doing jazz comping, a lot of times what you're trying to do is get a nice close harmonic connection between the notes. You want the notes to be close together to give you that nice colorful sound. And so to do that, we're going to use the first three fingers and we're going to put them on the fourth, third, and second finger. Okay? And we're just going to claw at it like this. Then we're going to take the thumb, and because we're using E series here on the E string, we're going to be playing the thumb on the 6th string. So basically you've got 6 and you've got 4, 3, 2, and you're playing them all together like this. And you want to practice doing that on a steady 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now let's look at the chords. Of course, if we were playing an E minor chord, you might notice that the two fingers that you press down, the A string becomes a B and the D string becomes an E. When you play 6, 4, 3, 2, you're not even playing that 5th string, and you are playing the 4th string, but guess what? If you took that finger off, you'd be getting a D instead of an E, and that would be giving you a minor 7th, dominant 7th, minor dominant 7th, which is a beautiful jazz sound. So what I'm saying here is no hands, Mom, and you're playing an E minor 7 in jazz comping style. Now, of course, we take the one finger and we bring that up to any fret, and now we're getting all the minor 7th chords with just one finger. Okay, we start to actually demystify a little bit. It's a little bold to say this, but we start to demystify that myth of Django playing with two fingers when we realize that he could play all the minor 7th chords with just one finger. And actually, your barring doesn't actually have to be that great, because as long as you've got the finger on those 4 strings, you don't have to worry about that bottom string too much. So even if you're not a great barrer, you can still pull this off pretty well. Okay, so again, we've got the E minor 7, right? And we just go up by fret. There's F, there's G, right, on the 3rd fret, A flat. We can come up to the 7th fret and play the B, C, and then of course on the 12th fret we're back to the E minor 7. So those are all your minor 7th chords on the E string, which will become very handy when we play this tune. And now again, we can get our major 7th chords by playing the E, right? And now from the E, we're going to glide that 3rd finger down to give us the D sharp. Okay, so we've got E and the D sharp, and then the little finger is going to go right underneath that to give us a G sharp, and then we've got the B open, right? So we've got E, D sharp, G sharp, and B, and there's your major 7. So if you never knew about playing an open major 7, E major 7, there you go. But now what can we do with that? Well, we can bring that up to all the different frets, and we're getting a major 7 on all of those different frets, again using the bar. So we can do an F major 7, a G major 7, an A major 7. Again, we're only playing these 2 fingers with the bar right next to it. Okay? Now some people might not want to play the full bar, so they just play one finger there and put that 2nd finger underneath. So what that looks like is basically an A minor with the 1st finger up above it. Okay? So now you can play your G major 7 here, A major 7, B major 7, C major 7. Again, we're going now G major 7. If we remember back to the minor 7, we can go to the A minor 7, which is the 2 chord. So now we've got the 1 chord, and the 2 chord. So now to get the 5 chord, we're going to go to the C series chords, okay? So the C is here, as we know, open C. So we're going to use the 5th string for our bass, and we're still going to use the 4, 3, 2, okay? And so now we've got all our fingers next to each other, 5, 4, 3, 2, and we're playing the C chord, right? Now to play the C7, we put the little finger in, and we can now rotate that all the way up and play C7, D7, E7, F7, all the way up, right? Same process, because we're not playing all the strings. We don't have to worry about these open strings, which don't really fit. But if we're just playing comping, we don't have to worry about those strings, and that C7 becomes very powerful, giving us all these different notes. Now, we're going to alter the C7 just a little bit by putting the little finger down and getting that 9 in there on the 2nd string. Okay, so now I can go and use this, which is a little more comfortable. Basically, I'm just using this to bar the bottom 3, and then the 1, and then this. And so now I've got a 9 chord to use in place of my 5-7. So I've got G major 7, A minor 7, D9, and back to G major 7. So I've got 2, 5, 1. And a nice thing to practice and keep it steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now a nice little addition to add in here is the diminished. And to add the diminished in from the G major 7, we basically raise this little finger up, and we can put it here. We're going to be playing the 2nd finger there, and the 3rd finger down on the 3rd string. Again, we're playing the thumb on the 6th with the 2, 3, 4. And so we've got dun, 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 dun. Okay, using the bar to cover these 2 middle notes. Dun, 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 dun. And there's your 2, 5, 1. And then we go to the sharp 1 diminished, 2, 5, 1. And you can think of lots of different improvisations you can do with that. So anyways, that's a little starter on jazz comping. Now let's go back to our tune, Small Fry, okay? So Small Fry is basically a 32 bar standard. It's got a little tag at the end, gives you another 4 measures, but basically 32 bars. So we're going to go 1 chord for 2 beats, diminished for 2 beats, 2 minor 7 for 2 beats, and then the 5 or the D9 for 2 beats. So we've got small fry strutting by the pool room. We're going to go B minor 7, E9, A minor 7, D9. So it's going to be small fry should be in the schoolroom. Okay? Now, one thing that I like to do here to be a little lazier than going B to the E9 is to go B to the B flat 13. So now to do that, we're just going B minor, and we're just sliding down a half step. So the tritone substitution is what they call it, because it's a tritone difference between the B flat and the E, right? So instead of going B minor to E, you can go B minor to B flat, and then you're doing B flat 7, right? Which is that 1 finger to do the 7th, and then you're getting the little finger to get the 13th in there. So you get the 7th and the 13th. And you can do it with these 2 or these 2, however you feel is more comfortable. So we've got, and then we're just going to do the same thing from the A minor to the A flat 13, and then the G. So these 2 forms are exactly the same, just 2 frets apart. And then that takes you through the 2 lines. So we've got small fry strutting by the pool room. Small fry should be in the schoolroom. And you see 2 beats per chord, which is perfect for practicing the jazz comping. Now we're back to the G major 7 for the next line. My, a little bit different here. We're going to a G7, okay, with just the one finger. That's all we need. My, and now we're going to slide up to the 8th fret to do the 7th on the C7. So we're doing G7, C7, no change in fingers. My, put down that cigarette, back to the B minor 7, and then the A minor 7, and then the D9, and then the G major 7. So chords we have already played. So watch slowly what we do. We're going to go, my, put down that cigarette. You ain't a grown-up high and mighty yet. Okay, and that's the verse. And then we go back through another verse, another 8 measures, same exact thing. Then we're going to go into what we might call the bridge, but really it's just the third 8, which is the B. On a standard, you've got A, B, A. So this is the B. Okay, so now we're going to go to that B section, and to start it, we're going to go to the 4 chord in the key, which again is the C7. Okay, so we're going to go, you practice pecking all day long, B minor 7, and some old Ray. Now this is very cool. We're going from the B minor 7, which in the key is the 3 chord, right, minor, and we're going to add the 7th to make it a B7, almost like transposing temporarily to a different key, to the E minor. So it's almost like a 5-1 in the relative minor key, which is very cool. And then we're going to come back to the A minor, the D, and the G, the 2-5-1 in the original key. So again, we've got, you practice pecking all day long to some old radio song. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And we haven't broken away from the 2 beats per chord. Of course, on this last chord, we've got 4 beats. But typically 2 beats per chord in this song. And then we're going to do it again. You better listen to your pa and someday practice, again that B7, practice the law. And now instead of A minor, we're going to stay in the 7th to A7, and you'll be a real success in D9. So the only difference between the 2 lines is we're going to an A7 instead of an A minor. You practice pecking all day long to some old radio song. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And there's 4 there. You better listen to your pa and someday practice the law. Again, we've got that little temporary transition into the relative minor, and then we go to the A7 for 4 beats, and then the D9 to finish it off. And if you wanted to be fancy, you could do D, and then use the little finger sharpening the 9th and the 5th, and then bringing it up 1 more to get a 13. So we got this. You practice pecking all day long to some old radio song. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. You better listen to your pa and someday practice the law, and then you'll be a real success. Something like that, okay? And then you're back in small fry, same thing again. Kiss the neighbor's daughter. Again, the lazy chromatic downturn. And then, seems I should take you on my knee. You ain't the biggest catfish in the sea. Same as the first 2 lines, right? And now we finish it off with a little 4, which is similar to the B. You get your feet, C7, all soaking wet. You'll be the death. Again, we go to the B7, E minor. Oh me, oh my, small fry. And finish it off with a little house. If you've seen some of the other videos, you can do something like that. So that's the tune. So let's run it through all the way through. And nice comping, nice steady comping. This is a great tune to practice that comping. And so, again, notice that we're not playing all the strings because that would sound actually not very good. So by playing just these strings in nice short quick strokes, you've got a nice accompaniment a la Ink Spots or Mills Brothers, some of the old classic tunes. Oh, small fry, strutting by the blue room. Small fry should be in the schoolroom. My, put down that cigarette. You ain't a grown-up high and mighty yet. And again, small fry dancing for a penny. Small fry counting up how many. My, just listen here to me. You ain't the biggest catfish in the sea. You practice pecking all day long to some old radio song. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You better listen to your pa and someday practice the law, and then you'll be a big success. Small fry, kiss the neighbor's daughter. Small fry, stay in shallow water. Seems I should take you by my knee. You ain't the biggest catfish in the sea. You got your feet all soaking wet. You'll be the death of me yet. Oh me, oh my, small fry. And if you can find the notes, you can finish it off like that. I hope that helps you out, my friends. It's a great tune, great novelty tune to spice up your little repertoire, and should have fun with that. Again, don't forget to subscribe, my friends. The channel is going strong. I really appreciate your interest and your viewing. And don't forget any comments, questions, or just suggestions. I'm welcome to all of them. Hope to hear from you, and hope to see you soon on the next exciting episode.